Okay. I just want to say we have differences. That's all. Like we
Uh-huh.
both feel a little bit different about it, but the Easter Bunny and I think there's potential for us to eventually join forces at some point, but as of right now, very different people.
Mm.
I I can't see working with that guy ever again. You know his name's Dennis? People don't talk about that.
That's
Dennis the
weird.
yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think
Hmm.
do you think Dennis the Easter Bunny is like not emotionally mature enough? Do you guys think you're just in two different places, like either emotionally, mentally,
Uh
or where is the non syncing up happening?
I think it's just a fundamental difference of practice. He thinks that wax on your eggs is acceptable, and I think that you should only be using powder dyes, and that's the way I was raised. And I won't apologize, guys. I don't believe in wax. This is not a wax family.
Is
That
wax like a thing to paint eggs?
Yeah, you like draw wax on the shell and then you dye it, and it can give you really elaborate little
That's
patterns.
crazy.
Yeah.
I've never ever
Hmm.
used wax. I didn't even think that was a thing.
Hmm.
If you want your
I think
little Easter
I oh, go
egg,
ahead.
it's just very Fabergé like little
Uh,
patterns.
for
yeah.
Brichet.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think I disagree with the Easter Bunny now. If this is true, if what you're telling me is not a lie
No,
to sully the name of Dennis the Easter Bunny, um,
look, I mean, me and Dennis we've gotten into it before.
holy
Like
fuck, thinking about this.
last Lent. Oh man, it was tension. That's all I'll say. A lot of tension, guys.
Hmm.
That's how it is, I guess.
That's how it be.
Mm,
Be on Earth.
What is the Easter Bunny's actual name? Isn't it like Peter Cottontail, or is that a different bunny?
I think that's an English bunny, isn't
Yeah.
it, Peter?
English bunny. Well, is the Easter Bunny not English?
Dennis, you know what? Dennis does have a weird speech and maybe he is English.
is
He's that.
is the Easter
Mm.
Bunny not like a Hallmark thing? I thought that was because there's no way it's in the Bible
Oh no, 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 no. He's like a
unless it
German
is.
pagan leftover from what do you call it? Austera, the
Yeah,
fertility. He's like a manifestation of procreation, reproduction from a bone.
because it's a bunny.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Isn't hang on. Now I'm like curious. This is gonna blow up my fucking lighting, but check this shit out.
Um,
Okay.
Ah.
wait, what do you do? What did you do? What did you?
I opened a window
Oh,
and
okay.
Hey,
to
Ian.
Google these.
Hmm?
Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Ian, you know what my favorite thing is?
What's that?
I go back to our old videos and see how happy we were. All the energy, how excited we were for every day.
Holy shit! Like I haven't watched any of our streams in a while, but I feel like those were just I had endless energy.
Memorable.
Yeah.
Holy,
Yeah. Yeah. Blue hair.
I did. Oh my god! I you know what, guys? I'm gonna dye my hair again. That's this year.
Yeah.
30-something Ian can still have fun. He can still have a party. He's still cool.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Ian, do you celebrate Easter or like is it just?
Not. I mean, not really. It was never a huge one for me. I did like the egg part, and I would do like an egg hunt when I was little, but
Mhm.
as an adult, not really. What about you guys?
Yeah, as a kid, because growing up in a Catholic
Yes.
like household,
Yeah.
yeah, you would do it.
Sure.
Yeah,
With
we did
everyone.
it.
Well, oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. Anyway, the Easter Bunny is, according to Wikipedia, is
Mhm.
a folkloric figure and symbol of Easter depicted as a rabbit.
Mhm.
Bring Easter. Okay, so originating among German Lutherans, The
Really?
Easter Hare originally played the role of a judge, evaluating whether children were good or disobedient in behavior at the start of the season of Easter Tide. Whatever
Ye-
the. If I click Easter Tide is a festal season in the. Oh my god.
Church liturgy?
Liturgical. Uh, lit,
Liturgy.
liturgical year of Christianity.
Okay.
Okay, anyway.
This is the
Uh,
purple cloth time for priest. That's what makes it Easter liturgical time, I think.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever try to Google like a religious answer on like the history of atheist.com? Every answer they give is so aggressive.
oh, is it? I
Yeah, like I look
No,
up
I've never
Easter and then
gone.
they're like Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. Her
mm,
symbols,
I was just
parentheses,
gonna get to the sex thing.
like the egg and bunny,
Yeah.
were and still are fertility and sex symbols, in parentheses. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with resurrection?
why what
Yeah.
why are they so aggro? Chill guys. It's fine. It's
After
fine.
Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter has changed to represent Jesus. But at its root, Easter is always about celebrating fertility and sex.
I
Yeah.
I like that the atheists are still mad about Constantine's contribution. Way to fucking ruin it. We could have
I
had a
Yeah.
know.
Hobbit
Don't be a
holiday.
dick.
Fucking hell, when him and Batman like decided to fuck up the royal palace,
oh
Kill all those
man.
vampires.
kill the vampires,
Them and Abraham Lincoln? Oof. Oof. Uh,
and then his hot great 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 grandmother met Morpheus, and then dude's crazy. Like
um I I'm sorry. I was gonna say like, hey guys, you know what's a cool segue to the topic today is he is back. He is risen.
Oh,
he's risen.
that's right. Ian.
Yeah,
He has risen.
has
Kong
risen.
has risen
He's
in
risen.
the Godzilla Cross Kong
Hmm.
movie.
Hmm.
I forget the subtitle. Actually, I should get that right if we're gonna do.
Oh no! What
Fire,
you doing?
I think something
Do it
like that.
live.
There's a subtitle, and I don't know what it is. The New Empire.
The
The
new
new.
empire. Now it's called Godzilla and Kong.
The
Mhm.
Cross Kong. X
Cross
Kong.
Kong, X Kong. Now in Japan, any X would be just not said. So Hunter x Hunter,
Right.
RD Vampire.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
But in this case, it's Godzilla Cross Kong, the new empire. But personally, I would call the movie Kong's featuring Godzilla. That's how the movie felt to me.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
100%.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
before Kong and Godzilla fight, I think Godzilla gets like two or three scenes.
They're sick.
Yeah, they're cool,
They're
but they're
cool.
like thing, and
Mhm.
I definitely do think that like, and we'll get into it more, but
Yeah.
what I think the plot lines of this three A, B, and C, I would
Yeah.
say,
Mhm.
and even when they overlap, you just feel like wow, these are like very different stories that are not totally gelling for me.
No.
What?
Well, we can just go into it then. Let's get into the rising action, which is everything
Oh,
we knew about the piece going in.
mhm.
So Ian has
Yes.
been slowly building up his Godzilla repertoire
Hmm.
with because of me and this podcast.
Yeah.
Um so have you watched any of the legendary Godzilla stuff, the Monsterverse as it's called?
The 2004 flick we watched, that was Monsterverse, right?
2004, the Godzilla Final Wars?
Yeah, that one that was like, because this,
No.
no,
Monsterverse begins at the legendary Godzilla that premiered like 10 years ago or something.
I I definitely saw the one with 11 in it, with Millie Bobby Brown. Is that right? Millie
Oh,
Bobby
okay,
Brown.
so that's Godzilla versus Kong.
Okay, I did see that one. Uh, I don't think I saw the Skull Island one where John C.
Okay.
Riley. Did it. So I know one of them at least of
Yeah.
from this run. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you know that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see, Godzilla. Yeah, 2014 May. So
That
10
was
years. That came out 10 years ago.
jeez.
The Millie
Jeez.
Bobby Brown one came out. It's older than Shin Godzilla, the MonsterVerse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still in high school.
Yeah,
Wait, really? It was that long ago, guys?
I was my first year of college. Was the Godzilla coming back?
Mm. The 2013.
2013, 2014.
Mm.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah. Oh,
Is the Walt White movie a part of this franchise as
that's the one
well?
I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the 2014 one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that you just call him Walter White, not even Bryan Cranston.
God, Bryan Cranston. No.
Mr.
Is
Mr.
this
White.
the Hal movie?
Is this is this the
He-
Malcolm's dad movie?
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
my name.
So you saw Versus Kong, which was the
Yes.
last one in this series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then before that was King of Monsters, which is the one versus King Ghidorah.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
And then Kong Skull Island was before that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So did you know
What
anything else like from trailers and stuff before coming in?
I I think the only thing I really knew going into this flick was Kong gets a big robot hand, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
He's Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
Yes, he gets his Thanos glove.
That's what I thought it was when they first showed a poster or like a trailer or something.
I and I feel like this movie actually does get a little bit of inspiration off of Marvel flicks at certain points.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, we'll get into that.
yeah.
But yeah, how about you, Nick? What'd you know about the movie before going in?
Not much. I just saw the trailer. I mean, I just saw the first teaser trailer and then watched the previous legendaries, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about the glove scene at all.
No?
I didn't know about what the scene looked like. I just knew he had a glove.
Yeah, yeah. Same.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, that was pretty much everything I knew, as well. So might as well just get into talking about the movie with
Okay.
the climax.
All right,
Alright.
thumbs up, sideways, down. What are we talking, Chris? 2 thumbs way up.
2 thumbs way. It's more like a thumb up and like maybe a thumb sideways.
Okay.
Okay.
I had fun. I had a lot of fun watching this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a blast. I think it was like laughing at a lot of stuff that people in the movie theater were not laughing at. And a lot of it has to do with like camera shit or camera stuff that was going on.
Well, yeah,
I'm
because
so
you know better. Yeah.
Because I
Uh-huh.
know better and I am smarter than than the average.
Average viewer.
No,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, hang on. I'm gonna start piecing together how exactly I want to say this, but Ian, I'm really curious what you thought about this movie.
I felt
Especially knowing now you only saw the last one, so you've watched 3 and 4
yeah,
of the Godzilla stuff.
yes. I definitely felt like, well, I'll just give a broad idea and we can get to the nitty-gritty of it, but the broad idea was I agree. I think it was mostly fun, and then there was a bunch of stuff that didn't work, and I was like, ugh,
Mhm.
God, okay, let's get to the next scene, please.
Let
But
me get
but
to the next CG fuckfest, which is
the
not like I
Mhm.
say that, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not a detriment to this movie.
No. I
Because
want to
that is
talk
not
about
what this movie is trying to have a lot of fun.
yeah. It definitely, well, the reason I brought up Final Wars is because I think that there's a lot of like shared spirit, or maybe like
I agree.
this is a movie where the point is we want to get to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
I um uh, the the people stuff was so miss or occasionally hit. I was like, just go back to the monkey stuff. I'm fine. We don't need this.
Mhm.
What do you think, Nick? What was your
Yeah.
initial?
Yeah, I get that. You know, in terms of like going into the film, of an
Mhm.
expectation, I think, especially with legendary films, that it was always just the general consensus of like the fights are getting better and the stories are getting worse. So I didn't expect much from the story. I was expecting like just some really cool
Mm.
fights and shots,
Mm-hmm.
and moments, and which it definitely, absolutely. And I feel, I don't know, I get why the story moved at the pace it did in the beginning for the humans
That movie moves so fucking fast, dude.
so
Like
fast.
the for 2 hours or an hour and 50, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I know what you're saying, Nick. I know what you're saying.
But yeah, no, that's cool. Like
Mm.
yeah, I was just thinking about that. Overall, like I had a good time. I had a great time. Had some
Mm.
like I think from this kind of film, I do think it's better than the last one, and I don't know if it's my favorite one, but I think fight wise, I like them the most out of the legendaries.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree with you. For having only seen 3 and 4, I liked the fights even more in this one. They were
Yeah.
really well choreographed. I could follow them, and maybe that's going to come into a different criticism I have of the non-fight parts in a bit that you alluded to. But like, it's very clean. Even in the scene where there's no gravity, I can follow who is where and what's going on. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so no, so I do agree, like, um I like it a lot more than the last one.
Mhm.
I like that yeah, I like it way more than the last one. The last one, the only part I really dug was probably the final fights that
Yeah.
happened in that movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
With Kong swinging through the city and Mechagodzilla showing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, like at first I wasn't digging Mechagodzilla's design, but seeing it in motion and the fight was cool, so I got over it. Um, I do agree, Nick. The fights are getting better, although I kind of like just the first legendary Godzilla just kind of like stomping around in the first movie,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and I like that fight with King Ghidorah in the second one.
Oh yeah, same.
Um, and then Kong Skull Island doesn't really have fights as more of humans like trying to stay alive.
Hmm.
Uh, but I do like what they do with the environment a lot.
Mhm.
I'm a sucker
Yeah.
for that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, I think that's a great compliment to pay the movie. Is there's whole sections of this flick that are I would assume just CG. You're looking at, the hollow earth. That's all created in a
mm,
computer. That's all but it looks great. It
yeah,
looks really, really good. It there are moments where I was like, oh, this could be Australia. Oh no, that's digital. Oh, but that looks crazy. That's really cool.
yeah, they probably modeled it after something, after somewhere. Probably those mountains in China or something that that they use
Mm-hmm.
or that movies use. But no, I get what you're saying. It feels fully realized,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
like it does feel like a separate world, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting, and I want to bring up the thing you mentioned about Final Wars because I was getting a lot of that,
Mm.
especially at the beginning with all the monsters showing up. Tiamat, that submarine sequence especially.
Yeah.
I was
Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wow, that's like this. I wonder if this is a callback to the first Final Wars because they
Because
approach
he
an iceberg as well.
and they fight Tiamat underwater, and the submarine freaks out. Also, right,
It's
right,
not
like all.
Tiamat. It's not Tiamat in Final Wars. I gotta be a
Okay,
nerd about this. It's Ryu.
okay, it's a
It's
different dragon.
yeah, it's the dragon that looks like just what you think a Chinese myth dragon looks like.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Tiamat is different. It's like a sea creature.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Follow you.
People are gonna get so angry at me. No.
Uh.
Yeah. So a lot of Final Wars DNA in that, especially in like the fights, right? A lot
The
of
the
short fights.
yeah, yeah. The
Uh,
the element of the film that's like a world tour, like Godzilla's gonna fuck up
yeah.
all of
That shot of him sleeping in the Coliseum is
Yeah.
adorable, and I want that forever.
Well,
Uh,
the first time you see it, I thought like, oh, Godzilla doesn't smash up the Coliseum; he just makes it a nest. And then at the end, they're like, no, Godzilla has made the Coliseum his nest. That is where he
Coliseum
lived.
is where he sleeps now.
Yep, yep.
He looks like my dog curled up in the bed. It's awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah, so we can get into. So Nick, you said the people stories has been getting worse throughout the movies, and while I do tend to agree,
Mhm.
um, I think this one was better, a lot better than the Godzilla Cross Kong one,
Yeah.
because that one felt like a fucking mess.
Oh yeah.
Like in terms of people like just trying to make these two stories meet up at the very end, and they don't really. They just happen to be at the same area at the same time when Godzilla's going off.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's the vibe I got from this flick too. Was
Oh,
like,
I'm talking about the last one. I think this one works a little bit better.
okay, okay.
Because you can follow it. You get
Yes.
at least I can follow the logic for some of these, whereas the other ones are just like next scene, and God, I always forget his name. I keep wanting to call him Paperboy. His name's not Paperboy.
No.
Brian Henry.
Mhm.
Brian Henry is a gift to
Brian
this movie.
Tyree Henry. Sorry.
I just say he's a gift to the movie. I really like watching him in this flick. He's like one of my favorite guys. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
he gets it a lot better in this movie than the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
He's
last
also a
one, I
podcast.
really feel like he was shafted.
Mm.
Was
This one he gets it a lot better. He's allowed to like actually act out the character, like
mhm.
to really go for it, or
Yeah.
like the scenes a lot. Like he's given more time, so you get like a lot more. Like you get to be with that character a lot more.
Yeah.
I really dig that. I'm glad. One thing I will say real quick before I forget, I'm glad they don't go with like a love triangle for
Yeah.
that movie because it really does seem like that's what it's going to be at the beginning. I like that Brian Henry's character is just no. All I want to do is go to Hollow Earth. I need that. I need that validation. I need that documentation.
Yes. Yes. We.
Although I really wanted the end credit scene, which there is none, but I wanted that to be like they're in a thruple or thruple.
They're raising the kid together as a
Yeah,
throuple.
the trapper, the and instead of portraying a thruple as something that works, it comes with all the messiness that that I wanted a different movie, I guess, is what is what I'm saying.
I I mean that would have been that. I think that's too emotionally complicated for this movie. It's like
Oh, come
I
on.
don't know. The
Chris.
the
Come
the
on. I thought this
this
was going to be a romance movie. I thought the way it was gearing up was Kong's going to find someone and they're going to
oh,
get it on and make Mini Kong.
oh nah, we're not doing that.
No,
We're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy. We're doing a bunch of
finding my people.
So,
yeah.
Chris, you wanted Godzilla -1 again?
Why Godzilla? Godzilla -1 finds another lady Godzilla.
Well, that's what it sounds like. Like you want just another Godzilla -1, where it's
Wait, does that happen in -1? Am I just misremembering the movie?
I don't remember Godzilla making out with girl
Making out
Godzilla.
with the girl God.
no, but the idea of like you want something more serious, like or like a more.
Oh no! I was just joking around because of the way the dynamic worked at the end.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
Yeah, I like that hug that that they do at the end. I thought was really funny.
I thought
Um,
Godzilla was gonna find someone because in the beginning they said like, "Oh, he's lonely."
No, Godzilla very much in this one. They're playing off. It feels like they're actually playing more off of King of the Monsters
Hmm.
Mm.
in the sense that he's still going on his world tour to kill all the threats to humanity
Mhm.
as the apex predator because that's what the whole movie was about,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? or that's what it ends with. It's not what the whole movie's about, but it's what it ends on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I interpreted Godzilla saying Kong's thing seemed like he was alone, and he is.
Yeah.
And has no one until he finds the deeper, secreter monkey society.
Oh my god, I fucking forgot that they labeled it a different place, and I did have a
The
moment where
subterranean Hollow
oh,
Earth.
so there's Hollow Earth, and there's even secreter Hollow Earth.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
what's
cool,
underground.
cool.
Yeah, there's more. It keeps going. It's like the turtle. The
Mhm.
turtle is
Oh,
on a turtle on a turtle. It's turtles all the way down.
oh, that's so good.
Turtle power.
Because so what I forgot to mention when I did see the trailer, the first one. I
Mm,
believe it's the first one where like they show Mini Kong,
uh-huh.
right? So I was like, oh, I thought it was Mini Kong. I thought King Kong was gonna have a kid,
Right.
the original. Wasn't expecting the whole secret thing. I will say that first fight with Mini Kong is fucking hilarious. It's
Where he beat other dudes with the monkey. Yeah, that's great.
yeah, with the other monkey, it's really good because it's like I think Nick said it when we were watching it. After it's like they do a great thing of like you as an audience going, "What are these guys gonna do? It's King Kong." And
They don't know who they're messing with.
they don't know who they're messing with. With the big reveal being they know how to use tools. Right? One
Yes.
of them has a dagger, and that's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
It's a real
Yeah.
big deal. One of them has a dagger, and one of them has a club. And then King Kong starts swinging around Mini Godzilla, and me, Nick, and my sister, we all bursted out laughing, like
Yes.
in the theater. It was so good. It was so fucking funny.
The,
Oh my
the
god.
I'll mention this from that fight scene because I'm thinking about it now because I thought it was like, what did you guys think about how the kind of tone is scene to scene? Because like at the start of the fight, it's like, oh, like they're holding him down, they're gonna club his head in,
Yeah.
and then at the end of that fight, he like whips a rock at the other monkey, and it has a boink sound effect.
It almost has like a coconut. Yeah. Coconut
Yeah.
getting hit sound.
Yeah.
In fact, I was watching The Rock. I'm like, yeah, what sound are they going to use when it hits his head?
I was ready for wet melon sound. Like I was gearing up.
You were ready.
Like,
You're ready for a braining.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
No, I think I was expecting the coconut or like a gong would have been funny.
That would
Like
Taco Bell.
talk about or the Looney Tunes gong whenever
Oh, yeah.
someone runs into a wall. By the way, you guys know how they made that sound? The Looney Tunes?
no.
No.
That is a recording of a bathtub underwater being hit by a sledgehammer. They recorded in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
if I remember it correctly, but that's what it is. It's an underground bathtub being hit with a hammer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
So which is why the vibrations are so far away from each other, but yeah, it's so that's what I was expecting. Anyway, so tone wise, yeah, because it starts off like it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
And then Kong is swinging around Mini Godzilla and
Kong.
does the rock throw.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think it's that seems to be the tone that they're going with the movie where like seemingly serious things, but then they go very chaotic with the fights.
Yeah.
Very chaotic.
Yeah.
Way more than you would think for like a giant monster movie.
Yes.
That's supposed to be like where they're big guys just grounded and like fighting. Yeah. No, it's weird. It's weird, but I think that does set the tone for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
That particular fight.
I
Yeah. It's so I think I enjoyed it. I wish because what's the next one? Is the next one with that that lake monster?
the next Kong fight is he chops up the big sea serpent thing, and then we get a parallel with the Tiamat fight. So
Yes.
he's a serpent, and Godzilla's fighting a sea serpent,
Mhm.
which is I like that. That was like, oh, okay, cool parallel. They're tying them together. That's cool. I like
Fun
that.
for a transition. I kind of wish we saw how Kong got out of it, because we have to assume he just like
Chop them up.
flexed. No, I assume he flexed, and then the thing like came off or something. He does chop them off after, like,
Yes,
because that's what they're eating.
yes.
How do we feel about Mini Kong? How do y'all feel about Mini Kong? Because
Nick,
that's the journey that King Kong is on with, right?
yeah. I mean,
King Kong has showed dominance. Now Mini Kong is.
well, he showed dominance but kindness. That's the difference. He's not like Scar.
Yeah, but Mini Kong at the beginning, Mini Kong is definitely taking him because, like, oh, this guy will kill me if.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is the gorilla pecking order.
Yes.
Literally.
Indeed.
And then King Kong comes into the enslaved monkeys and goes, I'll let my people go.
You have been that scene is really weird because I forget the doctor's name. She's reading the ancient Iwi writings in the temple.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it, and it's
how does she know the order?
Right.
That was my thing where she turns around and like, wow, it's a good thing that one was the next one.
Well, it's like the Indiana Jones thing when he reads off stuff. He's just go, okay, I guess he's that good at his job.
Yeah, he knows where the next part of the story that.
Like, I felt like, again, this is something I was thinking. They have this shot of Kong while she's talking, and it's like, oh, this is like a weird biblical thing. Like the bad king was cast down into the lava hole, never to return to the peaceful lands. And it was like, oh, okay, all right, man, for sure.
But no, it's more about we're gonna resurrect Mothra. Like, it starts off about like Kong, and then it becomes like we're gonna resurrect Mothra.
And there it is, the big bug, pretty bug.
We killed him. We killed her, and
But no more.
in King of the Monsters, and everyone felt like they did her dirty, which I am of the opinion. And now she get more time, which is a callback to the Mothra movies as well, because it is that tribe. Well, I gotta double check they share the same name, but it is a tribe of people who can communicate telepathically. That summon Mothra. There are a lot of parallels in this movie too, like older Godzilla movies. Like, as I'm like thinking about it more,
I think they really did try and like do parallelisms. Like, there's so many shots for Godzilla in his fights that I'm like, okay, this feels somewhat referential, but it's in a new, fresh setting. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Crabbed first, and like that was one of the monsters from Final Wars as well. But like, we get like this this more modern Godzilla that can do the charge up thing on his dolphins, so it's a little different. Yeah,
he only does like the burst thing from King of the Monsters like once in this movie. Which is weird because there's a lot of situations in the last fight where I'm like, he could do it right now and like
resolve this.
Fight's over, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there's a great moment where like they're like, we can't get close to Godzilla because he's radiating so hot.
Yeah,
or just all the radiation would instantly like kill us. Which is like they're saying that as he's walking off a beach
into the.
Yeah, well, hang on. Before we even get to the water boiling, right? Which was cool. That was a cool detail.
Yeah.
I felt like people in that coastal town are done. Like, that's even if you weren't in the path of destruction.
Or if you were down, you probably have been irradiated.
Yeah. Your life's over.
You're donezo.
You're donezo. You're it's gonna be just mounds and mounds of tumors.
There was maybe like 3 scenes, mostly around Godzilla in this movie, where I was like, okay, if this movie was a different kind of movie, like when Godzilla dives off of the Rock of Gibraltar in Spain.
Oh my
Uh,
god, that scene made me
Oh,
fucking laugh. I think it was really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you don't laugh while like watching that.
I immediately
It's
thought,
like an
like,
Olympic swimmer, dude. Like when when he does it.
if this was Godzilla, if this was a more dramatic Godzilla, we would
Yeah.
linger on the shot of the fucking radioactive tidal wave that's going to
Yeah.
destroy Spain and North Africa when he
Oh
does
yeah.
this.
What
Yeah.
happens to the fish supply in
Yeah.
in that town?
Yeah.
God, the fact that it's the Rock of Gibraltar, like in Godzilla, like, yeah, it's so weird. We're in an era now, which is very different
Mhm.
than some other. Well, not very different, but it is somewhat different from other eras.
Mhm.
Where Western Godzilla is a hero, can do no wrong, even when murdering and irradiating
Millions.
millions and doing a world tour of destruction,
Yep. Yep.
like a goddamn wrestler.
Well,
But he
um,
can't. But he's a hero in
mhm.
these movies. Compared to
if
now, where in Japan, it's a force of nature that needs to be destroyed,
mhm.
and usually a representation of our own sins.
We must atone for our wrong against
Yeah,
nature.
which is
Yeah.
very much back to the original, like call back to the original Godzilla
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
sense. Whereas the hero thing would kind of come later in the show era.
Hmm. Hmm. Mm.
No, it's yeah, his scenes are so weird. Like that crab exploding kind of sets a tone as well. Like this is gonna be a colorful,
Yeah.
like kind of bombastic
Yeah.
Godzilla fights. God, what's is the second one Tiamat? Yeah, right. That's what he
Yeah.
absorbs before we get into showing up for Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into. He gets into some. Kong gets into the subterranean. He sees
Mhm.
that scene from Primal. Uh, with the like apes or they kind of look like. I think they're supposed to be reminiscent of like a weird in between for
mhm.
before human before they evolve into human type deal.
Like missing link type apes kind
Yeah,
of.
because they're
Yeah.
using tool. Well, monkeys do use tools, so maybe it is just chimpanzees
Mm.
they're kind of mauling after. Anyway, they're moving
Mm.
rocks, and
Yes.
we don't know why, and we still don't
Yeah.
know why by
Are
the
they
end of the
built
movie.
down there? I don't. It's not clear.
I think the
Yeah.
hole's getting bigger. Is the that was like the only thing I can logically
Yeah.
connect. And then we finally meet Scar King,
Yeah.
who that was like another thing I knew because I saw the design once before the
Oh.
movie.
Okay.
Um, I didn't know what he would be like. That pose he does right before he jumps in is so
Yeah.
fucking funny. It is. It's almost a JoJo pose. It's like right there, but it
Yeah.
definitely is an anime powered crazy
Pose.
fighter pose.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Which, to its credit, I actually really like that fight with Scar King,
Me too.
the
Me
first
too.
one. In fact,
Yeah, it
my
was good.
biggest complaint with that fight is that it's too short. I think
Yes.
just when it was getting good, he they pull out Shiva. I think is the name.
Yes. Yeah. The ice dragon.
Yeah,
Uh, what did you guys think of the design of the ice dragon Shiva? Because the first thing I clocked when I was watching it, like what really stood out to me was its back spines
mm,
reminded me of Godzilla. Like, oh, are they trying to parallel Godzilla? Like
think a
as
little bit.
well, and then you really get it when Scar and Kong jump while Godzilla and Shiva jump mid
Yeah,
like you parallel shot. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. What did you guys think of that ice dragon design?
you want to go first, Nick?
Sure. Yeah. So for the Ice Dragon, at least in terms of a first impression,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I was more interested because it was a. At first, I assumed it was original, I thought, oh, maybe it's like some
Is it
obscure
not?
pull that I'm not getting,
Oh,
or it's just an original. And I guess I was leaning towards original because it did seem like a very American design. It did seem like
it
just a
does.
giant
It
lizard.
really does. It's a dinosaur. It's an ice dinosaur.
Dinosaur, yeah, ice
Yes.
dinosaur. Like that. I think the way they presented it was really cool. I think the way like they showed the lava wall freezing and then having the other spines of monsters hold like as chains holding
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like genuinely, I thought it was like really cool. But I don't know. The more it moved, I don't know.
Oh,
I wasn't too sure
Shimo.
on it.
Shimo, my bad.
Shimo, like Bimo.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Shiva.
Shiva, Mecha Shiva. Anyway.
Shiva.
Uh, um, yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, it, it was. I think another thing that kind of stood out to me about it, and tell me what you think, Nick. Like,
Mm.
because in this movie, well, maybe this franchise in general, Kong and Godzilla get a lot of characterization. Like, you get long shots where you're projecting a kind of humanity, especially onto Kong. Like, oh, he's enacting. Scar has that, whereas the Ice Dragon is really just like, oh, it's a tortured dog that we just have. He's not a dude. Kong's a dude. Godzilla, he's a dude. But that's just like a messed up. You know what I mean? Does that make?
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, so I got some facts on Shimo.
Oh, okay.
You
Go
all
for it.
are ready.
No.
Turns out we did not do our research in this podcast.
Oh,
For we did not play the 2022 Call of Duty collaboration with Godzilla vs. Kong, where
oh,
Shimo is first depicted in a cave painting,
oh, okay.
engaged in battle with Godzilla.
Oh,
So that
okay.
is
So,
where they first show up. This is a new monster.
oh, okay, okay.
Shimo is a Japanese word meaning frost or gray hair. It also means hole or abyss in Swahili.
Oh,
That was it was a name first revealed on a toy figure like thing.
okay.
Um yeah, I don't so my thing I don't know, I'm not big on Shimo. That's my
Yeah,
take. I think it looks a little generic. Well, I don't know, man. It just it didn't feel like a monster Godzilla would go up like
would be
it feels
matched.
so much like a dinosaur, right? Whereas, yeah, I get it. Like Godzilla is like you could argue is just giant lizard, and it is. But like Godzilla, so the upright stance and everything makes it feel so different from
Yes.
everything. And it's not unprecedented for that kind of dinosaur either, because we have I forget its name now, but it's in Final Wars, the one that turns into a ball and like
Oh,
rolls.
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
that's what they were going for, like when I first saw it.
yeah.
Um, and that like, yeah, it shoots ice, which is kind of cool. I liked it better when they called it the monster who ate a star. I was
Yeah.
like, that's a cool name. That's a cool way to do it. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too big on it. I don't think I am. It looks a little off to me. Like the style looks too different from like Godzilla stuff. Does that make any
And
sense to you guys, or am I like me?
no, it does, because I
No,
think
I agree.
Yeah.
maybe to be on that is so for the big fight, and not trying to skip ahead too much, but the kind of thematic thing that I was picking up is, okay, Kong has met his match. This is his perfect pairing fight with
Yeah.
Scar. So
Because he already lost to Godzilla. Godzilla's strong.
yes,
Godzilla
and
can
so
never lose.
Godzilla can never ever
And in
ever
fact,
live.
actually, if Godzilla loses, I would be so fucking. If he doesn't lose to man, I would be so fucking pissed.
Yes, but the idea of like I agree with you. Him being on all fours, him not having as expressive of a in my opinion,
Oh,
I don't think.
Shimo's a she.
Oh,
Although, when I was reading that Shimo was originally supposed to be male.
Okay.
I think they may
Okay.
have just changed that for the movie at the last minute, so I don't blame you.
But I do think that, like, yeah, the three other characters are. I don't want to use the word anthropomorphized. I don't think that's the right word, but they're humanized. They're given a very distinct character and
Yeah.
quality, if that makes sense. Like,
No, I
God,
agree, and in fact, I think the camera agrees with you too, because the camera is doing a lot of legwork for them. Like they get to coming back to what we alluded at the beginning with the Marvel stuff. They're
hmm
mugging to the camera
hmm
in this goddamn fucking movie. There's
hmm
shots where King Kong like puts the axe on his shoulder and goes, "Yeah," like, and the camera zooms like does a quick
yeah,
zoom in with a little shake
yeah,
to go
yeah,
in. They zoom in on Godzilla a lot too, doing that. Like they're emoting
yes,
in this fucking movie, like as a punchline.
and
And I don't
even
know how
like,
you don't find that funny when when you watch it, like these giant monsters.
well, even like, I'm kind of the opinion, or maybe of the taste, that Godzilla is a force of nature. He doesn't have opinions about things. He just does things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, so it.
his like modus operandi is to like reset
Mhm.
like the world, like it's to protect the Earth because that's
Yes,
his home. It's viewed as a territorial thing,
yes,
which
yes.
they touch upon in King of the Monsters. Yeah.
But once you get to the Mothra joining them scene, it's like, oh no, Godzilla is a character who's thinking and feeling and like making active choices in the scene. He's not just reacting.
Oh, that's
If
because
that,
Mothra makes him feel all sorts of things, Ian.
that that's true.
Simulation.
But
Godzilla already has a lover. It's Mothra.
yes, Godzilla and Mothra are deeply in love, and they have beautiful children in the form of
You're
the
gonna have
Iwi.
you. See, you're stumbling since you're new to Godzilla. You're stumbling upon like almost half a century worth of like
Okay.
Godzilla with Mothra.
Okay. Okay, I see. I see.
They're
Uh,
lovers. They are
but
lovers.
I like discovering this. This is like, but I think it does make that fourth Titan kind of the odd one out.
Yeah, it
She
really is.
is like, oh well, I mean, she's not got a character in the same way that I get who Scar is. Even if none of these characters speak, they have a clear characterization. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Scar King. Yeah, Scar King jumps out like an anime villain.
Yes. Yes.
Like again, almost JoJo-esque when it's kind of like a crazier guy.
Yeah.
Um, God, yeah, and I like his fighting style against Kong, especially.
Yeah.
And using tools like a whip is really like different and fun
Yeah.
with them. Again, just his fights were always cut a little too short. I felt like, but it
Yeah.
also
I.
plays into the personality that he's gonna just go use the weapon that they captured.
Yeah.
Excuse me, right? So,
Mm.
Um.
but yeah, how okay? So, y'all still never answered. How do y'all feel about Mini Godzilla by the end of the movie? For
uh
new, since we're talking about new characters,
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Mini Godzilla, Mini Kong.
Mini Kong, my bad, not Manila. Manila's not
Son
in this yet. I would have freaked
of
out.
Kong.
I would have been standing up in the theater applauding, saying, "We did it! We made it to Manila."
I would have been so excited if there had been a D plot in this movie where Manila just makes friends with a child, and
Yeah.
that's his deal again. I would love that.
Wow.
Uh,
I
But
think
how we
I
feel
like
about
him more.
Minicom?
He gets cooler.
He
I think
gets
it's
yeah,
cooler.
funnier. Yeah, I think it's funnier like in the beginning, but then it's sad when like they kick his dad in the lava.
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
fast and brutal, like,
yeah,
He's like,
but it plays
no.
well with that environment, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like these are the monkeys from Primal, so it's gonna be it's gonna be brutal.
Mini Kong. I mean, just to kind of touch on that last idea I already had, is such a character. He again is
So
really like
true.
mischievous, sneaky, a little like you get the sense that he's kind of in it for his own motivations that you can follow through that whole Kong plot line, which makes it
Which the
interesting.
motivation is King Kong will murder me.
Yeah.
But then
Or
he grows to fall in love with his captor.
yeah. This is Stockholm monkey
Stockholm.
story.
Or at least going, oh, this guy isn't as bad as the other guy.
Oh, he's not at least a total like dictator, a murderous dictator. He's like a fair but cruel king. Yeah.
Moving up in the world, we are.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the thing of like, we attacked Kong first.
Yeah.
That was our bit.
Yeah.
That's
Type
true.
deal.
And
we
now maybe
started that.
I need a dad. My dad fell in lava. Do you want to be
dad.
my dad?
Need new dad. Need
Hello,
new, bigger dad, better dad.
They swung me around like crazy.
After he beat other people with me. Yeah.
Scene's so fucking. It's so goddamn funny. I'm so glad they did that. Okay. So let's just get it. I'm looking at the time here. Let's just get into the last few sequences here. I love that we're not talking about the human story because it's okay. It's just a vehicle to move stuff along.
Yes,
but again, I will say it is better than the last movie by a country mile.
Okay,
I think so. I think it's more entertaining. There's obviously a lot of punch-up writing.
Yeah.
However, there's bits that are actually genuinely funny with that, so that means they did a good job.
Yeah.
There's you know what? There is one thing I want to talk about the human story. There's a moment me and my sister notices. You know that moment where the dude gets eaten by the tree?
Yes.
And the trapper and Brian Henry are hugging, and he's like trying to relax him. It's this funny scene. I feel like this is a really weird response and way to calm someone down after watching a murder.
Yes.
after watching after watching a tree eat a person.
They're fine.
They shoot that scene in I think it's a fisheye lens, or it could be wrong. Where it's like focused center, but kind of warps at the end. I want to say it's fisheye. And then once they do that, there's a lot of scenes where they're showing those characters, and it's that same lens.
Wonder what that's about.
And and that's what we were wondering. We were watching the movie, going, "Why?" It feels like, oh wow, we liked what this looked like. Now the rest of the movie, we'll have this, which is not how movies work. But like, it's funny to think that.
I want to throw out one other thing that was like such a kind of shitty technical like problem I had with but it happened twice, and it was enough that it bothered me. There's a scene right after Kong gets frostbitten, and he's on the run with Mini Kong.
Oh yeah.
And they're fine, and then Mini Kong saves him, and then we have this scene where there's an exchange where Mini Kong is screen left looking right at Kong. Kong is screen right, left at Mini Kong. And then we just immediately cut to Mini Kong is on the right of King Kong.
Yeah.
In the
I know what you're talking about.
It's so jarring and
it's weird.
It's breaking the I believe it's the 180 rule that like
I think so.
Why did he cross the line?
I should look at these terms. Like I know, like I've watched enough that I can go like, there's the problem, but I don't know what it's called.
But yeah, it's that relationship in the shot, and they did it twice, and it's such a basic movie thing that it bothered me. But yeah.
I agree. Yeah, there's little edits like that for the most part, for keeping track of monsters that don't exist and are just computer stuff.
Yes.
Pixels. They do a good job, but there are moments like that, right?
But I will say,
like, was that where they were physically in the scene, or like,
I will at least say none of the fights have that problem. They
are the fights are choreographed pretty well.
Yeah.
There's you can follow the sequence pretty well. some of them, you know what the stakes are. You also know if they're trying to like what the story is in each fight. They're trying to get an item or something
Yeah.
or get
Yes.
away. Okay, one more thing about the human story. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but do you remember whenever they would introduce a monster
Mhm.
Mhm.
and they would pull up a video in the in one of the computers, like Tiamat, right?
Yeah.
Or to give me the rundown on Tiamat and like the company or whatever, the military force
Monarch.
has a video ready, and but the video itself has escalation to it, so they're introducing Tiamat, and it's like there's dramatic music playing in the video as it's like, and then the solar rays hit it, and it got more powerful, and then it has this picture of a sun, like
Yeah.
to a full fucking choir, just and oh my god, I thought it was the funniest fucking thing,
It's it's
and they do it
melodrama, man.
twice, and it's so funny because who in that military base has like got to
Oh,
artistically portray that data like that.
Jenkins, did you edit in music? Yeah, it's
Did you
Carmina
edit?
Burana.
I wanted to add weight to the situation.
That's
What
funny.
has more weight than the sun?
Oh,
Damn.
It's oh yeah, Nick, that was the secrets I was telling you about when you went to the bathroom.
Oh,
okay.
Where
okay.
I'm like,
Gotcha.
you missed a 5-second thing that was fucking hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Any other bits before we get into the final fight? Yeah. You know what? I'm not big. We'll get into. Well, you know what? I'll save that at the end. It's like one of my bigger problems with this movie.
Okay.
But let's get into the last fight, which
Okay.
is insane.
Well,
They are flying.
okay. Yeah.
The gravity go bad. It go weird.
It go weird for a little bit.
It
Yeah.
go weird for a bit, and they start hopping off rocks, start dancing in the sky.
Yep.
How'd y'all feel about that? Seeing these, because that's like that is pretty new for like Toho monsters. I can't think of a movie where stuff like that has happened. All fights are usually grounded because they're dudes in suits.
Yes.
And even -1 and Shin Godzilla are incredibly grounded. My Shin Godzilla is like most of it takes place in one spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you all feel about that fight?
I I just repeat what you had mentioned earlier. I think it could have gone on longer. I would have watched a little 2 more minutes of monster fight in 0G.
Interesting.
I
Oh, yeah, that was sick.
I kind of was like I was watching it and I immediately thought, oh, it's action figure smacking. But I was like
Yes.
into it. I was, yeah, get him.
It 100% is. Especially with the way that fight starts, where they're right, like Godzilla jumps off of, or no, King Kong jumps off of Godzilla.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
into Scar King.
Just slamming each other.
Yeah, it's like that description of FF7 Crisis or Advent Children. Yeah, it's just it's someone smashing two Barbies into each other. And like yeah, I don't okay, so you say that you thought it didn't go on long enough. I actually think
Too long?
maybe, if not the right amount of time. There was a moment where I'm like, I kind of want them to get on the ground because now we don't know. Now I felt it like where I'm like, oh, we don't know how to end this fight if it keeps in 0G.
Yes.
Because it would end by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's super unsatisfying for for a Godzilla and King Kong fight, right? Where they're teaming up. So I'm glad they go back to the ground and they fight in the city because I like all the way the powers like affect it, like the ice on the way it looks on buildings and everything looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's weird for a Godzilla fight to have like they have to get the MacGuffin or the thing, which is the ice crystal.
Yeah.
Dagger.
Yes.
It's great. This fight does highlight one of my problems with this movie, which is I don't think the beam's that great in this movie. The Godzilla beam.
Okay. Okay.
Every time he shot it, there's one decent shot, which is when he goes like Super Saiyan God Ultra Instinct or whatever,
Yeah.
and turns like pink.
Yes.
And he's charging up the shot. He even like puts his hands back like in an anime, and power's coming out of his eyes because he can't
Yeah.
hold it anymore. You're like, yeah, but then the actual blast is not that interesting
Yeah.
because King Kong's dodging it. In fact, I think it just hits the pyramids when he does that.
Yeah, he fucks up the Great Pyramids, and then Mothra has to like intervene and be like, "Boys, no!"
Yeah, boys, no, stop it! You're fine. You can both have me.
Couple at the end, raising the little girl.
Yeah, says Mothra.
Oh man.
No, and yeah, and then it happens again in the final fight, which is why I'm bringing it up. Scar King is like, which we do establish. Scar King is very nimble,
Yes.
especially on the ground.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, I don't know. You watch a Godzilla movie, you want to see that beam hit something and like explode, right?
Yes.
The fact that it's kind of cutting through stuff that's cool. But since that wasn't the focus, you're not like, the emphasis isn't really there.
Yes.
It's more about Kong dodging it because Kong has to dodge it. And then even Scar King, who you could have had like really hit with that shit.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And bring in the idea of, well, he's scarred because he fought Godzilla. He's been there. These monkeys are all singed and burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the only way, and I try to think about like, how would I fix that if I was, the height of hubris and ego?
Yeah.
How do I fix?
You got this, Chris. How would you fix Breaking Bad go?
Because I like how Scar King dies at the hands of King Kong, and I get like, for the story we were following, this is a King Kong story featuring Godzilla.
Yes.
That makes sense, right? That Kong gets the last hit. There's no emotional impact there, but I also think, wouldn't it be funny if like Scar King's frozen, Kong, instead of shattering him, plants him into the ground and lets Godzilla do like one big beam?
I was hoping that they would do that, truthfully.
Because I thought that's what was going to happen.
Yeah. I was all keyed up for him to get frozen, King Kong to hold him in place so he can't run
Kong
away.
Just walks away, plants him into the ground. Like,
yeah.
You go for it, man. Yeah. You do.
Bust this guy.
Yeah, because there's no, like I said, I don't know how you guys felt, but I felt like there was no real impactful flame breath in this Godzilla movie for Godzilla.
I'd agree. I think the only real breath blast we get is the very first fight against the king crab creature.
Ah, that's true. Yeah, and explodes. And that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But that also highlights like the biggest thing this movie has going against it, which is Godzilla -1 came out like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And Godzilla -1 may be one of the best Godzilla movies, period. Like, not just like in this era,
I think it's just a great movie, period. No, like,
absolutely.
Yeah. And
sorry, go ahead.
I don't want to detract too much from the fight. Let's get into the fight, and I've got some other ideas. What do you think?
Nick, how do you feel about this fight, this last one?
Last one, yeah, I think I end up liking the payoff of it.
I did too.
A bit more than Mecha Kong, but
yeah, you really thought it was gonna be Mecha. Like Nick was telling me during the movie, it's gonna be Mecha Kong. Mecha Kong's gonna gonna give him armor, and he's gonna be Mecha Kong.
I would have liked.
That would have been sick. No,
I agree with you. They should have made Mecha Kong.
Man,
because he gets the arm.
Yeah.
Can I pitch this to you guys? And I think it would work with how the movie has set itself up, and it wouldn't be too weird. You do it exactly the same. You do it exactly the same, except at the Cairo fight with Kong, Godzilla, and Mothra. That's when you have your hope is all hope is lost moment, and it's like, oh no, even us couldn't figure it out. And then without explanation, Mecha Kong shows up, and it's a
Yeah.
4-on-1 fight. Like,
Sick.
that would have worked fine. Would have worked fine.
You know what? Hang on. Let's save our pitches to what we think the next movie is. Towards the end, that'll be a fun way to close this off because I have an idea too.
Okay.
But that's good. That would be fun. Yeah. So, okay. So you thought they were gonna go with MegaCon, but how'd you? All the city stuff, the stuff with Shimo, um, the things with Scar King. You enjoyed that last fight. You said, Nick,
Yes.
to you.
Sorry, I was waiting. But no. Yeah, no, I really liked it. That was I liked it more than Mecha Godzilla's fight. I don't know, just thought that was cool to look at. Yeah.
It was very cool. Like we said, the fight choreography was great. Or is really fun.
Yes.
It is
Oh, yeah.
definitely you are not getting grounded like kaiju fights. These are almost high flying off the top rope style fights. They're nuts.
Oh, yeah.
They're really nuts and chaotic. Which may be what leads to not there being like a really build up to the beam.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because like the last monster movies, legendary movies, all have that. Like the first one has an amazing like lead up to the beam.
Yeah.
King Ghidorah, the monster King of Monsters with Ghidorah has a great to the giant blast, the area effect.
Mm-hmm.
And Godzilla versus Kong really is just like a slobber knocker against both monsters.
Yeah.
And this one, yeah, it's more of a fun. It's like chaotic kind of style with like the enemies matching that, right? And a lot of moving parts that they make work. Like everyone feels like they got like a really good part to play in that fight.
I agree.
With
agree with
even
that.
like ice, which is area deniability, like would cause people to stop. Doesn't
Mhm.
slow down the momentum in the fight. Like they use it really well to just cause like I can't just be there
Right.
type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good fight. Like the ending. Like I said, I kind of wish there was more of a Godzilla thing going on. But yeah, we get to the end. Fuck, like I think they just cut to the 3 adults in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
After the child's like, no, I want to hang out with you. We did the thing. Yay, small emotional payoff from the first thing at the beginning.
Hey.
With the conversation. Oh, by the way, that car shot of the Volkswagen.
Oh my god.
Door.
Oh my god.
Me
Yeah.
also. Did you also laugh in the theater? Because me, because me and my sister both like really got a kick out of it.
I laughed out loud, and I promise by sheer like gut reaction said out loud, "Buy Volkswagen" to the whole body.
I just turned to my sister. I went, "Well, I know what my new car is. Look at that thing. That will that will carry me through the MonsterVerse." It's so that shot's so fucking crazy, dude. It looks like it doesn't even look like it's part of the movie. It looks like they took a scene from like a car commercial.
Yeah,
the way they shoot cars, it's nuts. It is for like a second.
It's an insert shot. Immediately cut back to the mom and daughter fight. It's so weird.
Oh, it's so crazy. This movie's crazy.
Yeah,
this movie's nuts. Very funny movie. Maybe not for the reasons. Okay.
Hysterical.
So let's. Oh, go. Yeah.
What?
Oh, I thought you had something to say.
No,
Okay.
It's not boring. Don't worry.
Well, let's get into the falling action.
Mm-hmm.
What did we get out of this movie? What did you guys get out of it?
I got Kong's Truth.
You got Kong's Truth. I also got Kong's Truth. Kong no lonely no more. Monkey friends.
I think so. I'll try and keep it concise and clear because there was a whole bunch of moments like this, but I mentioned Marvel flicks and how I feel like Marvel was an influence on what And I haven't seen 1 and 2 in the series, so maybe that's also a piece of it. But it's like
They're very
the
different. In this
the
movie.
world building that exists in this movie
Uh-huh.
feel. I felt like, oh, this feels like watching Guardians 2 or 3 without having watched the first one. Like
Oh, I can see that.
we're in a wacky world where
Yeah.
this kind of stuff just exists and everyone's on board with it now. This is par for the course
Yeah.
uh for everybody. Um and
Mhm.
all these like continuing plot lines where it's like, oh yeah, this is a comprehensive universe you've got to watch. I did feel a little bit of that, especially with the MacGuffin. Like you say, the MacGuffin fight felt very
Yeah.
Marvel, me at least.
Absolutely. Where they're trying to get the glove off type deal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and also just this idea of, but I think that like the balance between spectacle and character is a way different in this movie, where it's
Mhm.
like you got we more or less said it a few different ways. The people are the bullshit plot. It's the stuff we have to do. We really want to get
Yeah.
Blizzard.
Which
Yeah.
again, I want to make clear, this people plot is definitely way better, like a step up,
Okay. Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
actually entertaining
Okay. Yeah.
with the dialogue
Yeah.
as compared to the last one.
Mhm.
It's very silly. The
Yeah.
dialogue is very silly. It's the people are very silly, but
Which matches with the rest of the movie. Like, these are
yeah,
giant monsters mugging to the camera.
and all of these characters are, well, like everybody has their main characteristic, and that's the character. Like
Yes.
the scientist is very serious and just wishes she understood her daughter. Um, the
Mhm.
trapper is like a Lucy
Divorcee, Steve Irwin
divorcee,
type.
and and then the tracker dude is just a hard. The other, what's the other dude? The pilot is just a hard ass who's definitely gonna die. Like
Oh
you,
yeah, dude. That dude
there's a
appeared on screen and we were like, he's gonna die.
there there.
He lasted
Yeah,
a lot longer than I thought he would. He didn't die the way I thought he would die.
true,
I
true.
thought they were gonna crash.
And then the Outpost One scene kind of made me think of Jurassic Park a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, feels very Jurassic Park. Okay, cool,
Yeah, where
cool,
they
cool,
get
cool.
to the destroyed car.
The big bloody claw prints and yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Absolutely.
so I feel like this movie is kind of a basket of pop culture brew, and it's like, oh,
Yep.
we know you guys want X, Y, and Z, so here you go. We know you guys like this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Some of those Godzilla scenes feel like very much like we need to have Godzilla more in
yes,
this goddamn Godzilla versus Kong cross Kong movie.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. What about you guys? What do you guys get out of it?
What'd you get
Anything
out of it,
else?
Nick? Because I'm gonna throw a curveball at you guys.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. In that case,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, I got out of it a fun movie. I saw the
Hell
monkey
yeah.
fight the lizard, and
You
then
saw
the
spectacle.
lizard and the monkey fight
Yeah,
another monkey and
Absolutely.
another lizard.
I agree. I agree, man.
Like,
Yeah,
Nick, like, people may think you're joking. I genuinely think that's that's a good takeaway from this movie. Like,
No, not a bad
you
one.
come here to it got our asses in the seats, right?
yeah,
And to
Yeah,
buy
had fun.
popcorn.
yeah,
And
That's all I could ask
goddamn it,
for.
we were entertained.
Entertaining.
yeah. I was amused. I was
Yep,
amused.
I was amused.
Type
Was
me.
Tis I.
Nick was the only person not, because he kept saying, "I just wish it was Mecha Kong."
I was like, had my
Had
arms crossed and pouting.
arms crossed when like the monkeys and lizards are flying, and you're like,
Should have
"Should have
been
been a Mecha
Mecha
Kong."
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the electric lizards. That also felt super
Jurassic
like
Park.
Jurassic Park. Like
Yeah,
here's the setup payoff of the weird thing. Yeah, 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 yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, the copyright music wasn't too bad, but it was still a little jarring when it would happen. But
Yeah.
okay. My takeaway, if I had to pull out the writer's hat, right, is that in some way, this movie is about finding your clan.
Okay.
Because the whole thing with the girl, which is what starts the human journey into Middle Earth, is that she's getting these visions that we find. She's getting these visions that would eventually lead her to find her original people, or at least remnants. What people who are still part of that tribe
Culture, all that.
or
Yeah.
culture, but are a different tribe that survived, right? The massacre.
Yeah.
And so she finds her people. She feels immediately at home. They make her feel at home. She seems super happy, but realizes that doesn't realize, like, she knows her people is with her mom, or
Yes.
like the adopted mom, because that's where she wants to be. Now that she knows, she would rather choose that world. Kong's whole journey is finding out there are more giant monkeys out there after being attacked by them. And earns their respect through sheer will and power and
He let his
murder.
people go.
Yeah, but he finds his people.
Yeah,
and joins them.
He comes in riding on Shimu and goes, "You're my slave now."
Shimo, you are. Oh, I am king now. The harem they show for that 1 second in that movie.
That's mine now.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets about that. That's a weird shot. And like, there's. So there's parallels between Kong, who is the main star of this movie, and the human in finding their people.
Yes.
Finding your tribe. Now, what great insight comes from that? I have no fucking clue. I guess it's just you choose your family. And that's that's what I think. But I think Nick's is way more valid in that we got to see a lot of cool fights and spectacles here, and I was entertained. I had a good time watching this movie. I kind of came in a rush, a little cynical from the last one. It was early, but I kind of just went, let's just see. Let's just see. And I like the tone. I think it's goofier. It's different. It stands out from the rest of the movies in that sense, whether you like that or not. But they do accomplish their tone pretty well and what they're setting out to do. Which is weird because the director is the same director as the last one.
Really?
Yes. It is Adam Wingard.
Okay.
So directed the last Godzilla versus Kong. The director of the Netflix Death Note, the 2016 Blair Witch, the 2014 The Guest, VHS 2.
Hell yeah.
The ABCs of Death, VHS.
Oh my god. Those? Dang.
Yeah, he's ABCs of Death he is segment Q for Quack.
Okay.
VHS, he is director of Tape 56.
Okay.
And VHS 2 is Phase 1 clinical trials. So it's a weird
CB, man.
Weird thing. It's a lot more fun. It really is.
I agree. It's playful. It's a very playful movie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I will say this before I forget to get, like, I already complained about the beam. The big thing I also think from this movie is there's a moment in every Godzilla movie where I feel like a kid and that I'm seeing this build up and just like a literal like wow, like oh my god, that's a giant lizard doing a thing with build up and everything. This movie doesn't have that for me.
Yep.
At all. Even the first two like the first Godzilla Legendary and then the King of Monsters Legendary had that for me. Right. This one didn't. So that's another big complaint. That's another big thing. And I think that feeling is important for Godzilla movies. That'd be the only other big thing, I guess. But it's fun. It's a fun popcorn movie. Had a good time. Had fun. Again, the biggest thing this movie's got going against it is Godzilla -1 came out 4 months ago.
That's a comparison. I agree.
Yeah.
And it did win.
Well, no, Nick, it's the Uncharted 3 problem, right? where the next sequel, the next movie in this franchise has to follow up the best thing that franchise has done.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's like, and this movie is trying to really accomplish something different.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully the comparisons won't be too bad.
Yeah.
However, you
Mhm.
still can't deny it, right?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
They're
Because
Godzilla films.
especially how close these came out together.
Do you think
Yeah.
Kong is gonna show up in World War II?
Well, okay, so
Ooh.
is that your pitch for the next Kong movie?
The next Kong movie is
They
that
go
it's
back in
minus,
time
it's Godzilla minus
100
one, but
years?
King Kong. And instead of a Japanese pilot, it's like an American paratrooper, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gotta be someone that like broke his leg so he doesn't have to get drafted.
Mhm.
Oh, I
Mm.
could see that movie actually. Yeah, I'd watch that. Good pitch.
And then it's but now it's a female Kong, and then
Oh.
Chris looks out his window, and then it's a giant female Kong, and then it pulls him out of his room.
I think I can say Godzilla and Kong get it on. And we get, we get mini Kong.
The
Put a wig
tease
on Kong.
end of the movie is that it was a she Kong and she's pregnant now. That's
Yeah.
the setup for the next one.
So,
Live
Set.
birth of the Bermuda Triangle.
oh yeah. Okay, Ian. We have 10 minutes left. What's or no more than 10 minutes? What is your pitch for the next movie? Go.
My next pitch for this movie is they do outer space. You got to do something
I
on the
also
moon.
was gonna say they do outer space. How did they go to outer space, Ian? Where
Space
they?
Kong?
One of those like little wormhole tears. It turns out there's one that pops you out on the moon.
There's one in the
And-
sky. Yeah.
There's one that just shows up on the moon, and then they have like a big dramatic fight where Godzilla fights some kind of space squid, and they crush
Ian, there is a
Yeah.
space Godzilla.
Oh, there is one, right?
Yeah, that comes down from Earth with the big giant crystals.
Oh, damn.
So
Okay.
that's who they fight. It's either Space Godzilla or Destroyer. It's got to be one of the top tier because we've already done King Ghidorah, right? It's got to be one of the real problems, which is Space Godzilla or Destroyer. And in order for, here's my thing, Nick, this is for you. In order for Kong to make it to space, they have to finish his suit of armor that they started with the glove because they've seen the efficacy of it, and now will approve money to suit up Kong and turn him into Mecha Kong.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually.
And then they fight. It's a 2-man against 1. Space Godzilla or Destroyer, or even Biollante, because maybe the Earth is fighting back.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they kiss. Oh.
And then they kiss. Then they kiss. They're part of a throuple now.
They raise the little girl in space.
In space.
Have a honeymoon on Jupiter.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing for the denouement. What do y'all recommend people check out?
Oof.
Before.
Give 1 sec. Nick, do you have one?
Nick, you got one?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Go watch King Kong Escapes, the first appearance of Mecha King Kong.
I knew
what should have been.
I was gonna name that.
2 King Kongs fight to the death.
That's right. Go watch Godzilla -1 if you haven't seen it, or the first legendary Godzilla, because oh my god, it's been 10 years, I guess, and that's fucked up. That means some people definitely didn't watch it now.
Yeah,
Chris.
Oh man,
what do you say about that?
What do I have to say about that? Ian, what would you recommend?
Just off the bat, like the thing I was thinking about is if you want something that's like really playful and fun and great to look at, watch James Gunn's trilogy of Guardians. It has like a sci-fi wild time feel with a big fight, and
I still haven't watched the third one.
Ooh, it's a fun time, guys. You get to see a whole apocalypse happen. It's a good time. It's
cool.
Chris hates Marvel now.
No, I just stopped watching it. Like after a while.
No, you hate it.
I hate it.
I won't
Alright.
take another. He did promise he would never watch another one, which I thought was bold, but
I did say this. A thing I am regretting since we review or talk about movies on this thing.
So,
And-
How would you fix the movie, Chris? How did they fail?
oh man, I would introduce Constantine, and he would be
ooh,
like, "I'm Constantine," and everyone would be like, "Yeah, you are," and then the movie ends because they would be annoyed that I made that movie.
it was. It's so weird that they greenlit it and then they ended production 10 minutes into shooting.
10 minutes into, they saw the intro,
That's so.
and they went, "It's just people saying he's Constantine."
And it's Keanu Reeves again.
Okay, we gotta go. We're looking at
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.
See ya.
So long,
Bye.
Avita say goodbye.